right, congratulations if you have recently got admission to study in one of the universities here in the UK, or you are currently preparing to move down to UK through study visa. That's fantastic, and I promise you, you're definitely gonna like it studying in this part of the world because of their much realistic and practical means of teaching here. Yes, you would love it. Meanwhile, you are most welcome on here. My name is Chinyere Ojike. I am a mom vlogger based here in the UK. I share videos about UK tips, how you can, enroll into any of the universities of your choice here, how you can get a job here. I also, make videos about a lifestyle precisely. Yes, I share my life, especially when I travel to places in and outside of the UK. I bring them on here. Yes. All right, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and thank you for clicking to watch this video. To my ever returning subscribers, I sincerely appreciate you guys because I cannot do without you all. Meanwhile, this video is about things no one tells you about studying here in the UK. Yes, so there are a lot of these things people do not share. Yeah, they can share to their friends who are very close to them, but not to you. Probably you are coming into the UK, but you do not have someone who is already here. There are things you need to know when coming to study here. And these are the things I'll be discussing about, or I'll be talking about in this very content. So please stay glued while we share this thing. All right, so basically one of these things no one tells you about coming to study in the UK is you having to struggle with the educational system, the classroom structures, the responses to questions in the classrooms, the way students respond to questions in classroom is quite different. If you are coming from Africa, Asia, the way educational system is being structured back home or in any of our African country is quite different from how it is here. Because landing here for the first time as a student, when I came in, I had to do my registration myself. Yes, even when I didn't have a computer in my country, Nigeria, I didn't have a laptop. But immediately I arrived at school, I was sent to the student learning zone where I was given a laptop to do my registration myself. I enrolled myself, print out my student number, take it to the information center where I was given my plastic ID card. You can imagine. Then, while doing this, I was actually given a kind of a guideline, a list of a guideline, how to do it, the step-by-step, how to carry on my registration on my own. That notwithstanding, the classroom is something else. It's totally different from the classrooms we used to have back home in my country. I'm a Nigerian, so it's automatically different. It's just like a conference room. Everything is new and strange to you, when you arrive. And basically, the way questions are answered, or the way students ask questions to the lecturers in classrooms here, absolutely different. Back home, we would have to raise our hands up in order to ask a question, but here, nobody does that. Person number A is saying, if the lecturer's name, take for instance, if the lecturer's name is Karen, somebody down there is saying, Karen, can I just ask you a question? What is the combination of this and that? Another person on the other side is saying, Karen, do you know how the molecules can be put together to form iron or to form blah, blah, blah? Person number 3 is also asking question. Nobody is waiting to say you, for the lecturer to say you cannot ask your question. They are just throwing the question. Brum, 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 brum. Meanwhile, nobody is going to ask you if you did not indicate or if you did not ask. But even if you indicate, nobody is going to point at you. So you just pour out, ask your question straight ahead. That was quite strange to me, being new in the classroom in this very country, because that wasn't the way it is done in my own country. The second point is this. Writing articles, textbooks is something that is very much compulsory. You have to read and read journals, articles, magazines. You have to read so much on your own in this very part of the world. You're basically doing it on your own, if you ask me. So prepare your mind. Yes, if you don't like reading, you have to change that attitude and borrow it from somewhere, because you are coming to a country or to study in a school where you are going to be reading day in, day out. Number 3, independent studies. You have to learn to study on your own. Yes. You have to learn to do it on your own in this part of the world, because there is a lot you can sit down and put together. You go to the library. I would go to the library. Sometimes I would leave the library 3 o'clock. Sometimes I would sleep in the library, study. Oh my goodness. It's a whole lot, but I'm not scaring you, but these are something you should know yourself. Sadly, back home, you don't really get to stress yourself doing a lot of voluminous studies back home. But here, you sit down in the library, you write your assignment on your own, your term papers, academic work. So you need to sit down and read, make research, and find out all these things your own. For having to tip a lecturer, that's sorting. We call it sorting in my country. Yes, you pay a lecturer to give you a mark, to upgrade your mark. That doesn't exist in the UK. Yes, you heard me well. There is no room for such bribery activity here in the UK, because the sitting arrangement for lecturers in their offices is another thing that even makes it difficult for you to do so. It's hard to see one single lecturer sitting in an office just alone. Usually there are 2 or 3 in the offices, but even at that, they are disciplined already. So you are not bribing anybody to increase your mark. You don't have such things do not exist in the UK universities, if you ask me. So it's basically something you have to learn to do on your own. What you score here is what you are awarded, or the mark you are given. And number 5, writing is like a habit here, because you will keep writing. Like I've said, that you would also read and read. You keep writing because you write articles, you write, you do a lot of research work, and by so doing, you are having to write. Sometimes you are asked to write 4,000 words. Term paper, you are asked to write 10,000 words. And you think that those things are difficult. When I was in school here, I used to think that it's difficult. But when you start, to be honest, sometimes you are, assuming you were asked to write 4,000 words. By the time you started, you make your bullet points, you do your intro, the body of the thing, your points. By the time you develop 3 or 4 points, you are looking for more, as in you are like trying to manage your words, because you are almost exceeding the required amount of words you were asked to write. So it is something not difficult to do, yes, but you will write and write and write. It's common. Next point, plagiarism is something that is taken serious in the universities here in the UK. Plagiarism check, plagiarism indicator is an app you use to submit your assignment. They call it turn it in. Yes, when submitting an assignment, you turn it in directly. The app has to check your plagiarism, that's your copying percentage. If you copy someone, referencing is something serious in this country. Yes, because you can't just manufacture words on your own. But when you write your articles, your term papers, your assignment, you are required to reference the authors. I mean, those you copied their words, or those you researched and you use their words to develop your articles. So you have to reference such authors or such writers in your word. And it shouldn't be. I think in this very country, the plagiarism check here is 10 to 15%. If you have 20% plagiarism, honestly, they will mark you down. Yes, and you're going to be penalized for it. Talk more of when you have 50% plagiarism, that's resemblance of another person's work. That means you copied an author verbatim without referencing the person. That is not allowed in this very country. This is where you have to read and write. You read, you learn how to reference. When I studied in my country back home, I didn't know how to reference my work or my write-ups until I came to school, until I came to study in this part of the world. That's when I learned how to reference my academic work. So it's something very serious. You do an assignment or a term paper, you are turning it in yourself. You turn it in online, you are submitting it online yourself, and immediately right there, the turn it in, that's the plagiarism whatever, will assess your work and bring out the percentage of similarity to another person's work, if it is similar to another person's work, and it will give you the percentage. So 10 to 15% is pardonable in this part of the world. Anything more than that, you will be asked to redo your work. You have to rewrite your work again. Sometimes, if it is more serious, you'll be queried. So it's a serious stuff here in the UK. Next point is this. Financial struggle and low grade could be another point, especially when you are new in this very country. Yes, it's a big factor here when you have to struggle financially, because as an international student here, as in you are not expected to pay your entire school fee for the year. Assuming in a year you're paying 10,000, you know you pay by installment. Assuming you pay half of the money, 5,000 before coming in, and you started school in January, for instance, around March, you are expected to pay in another percentage of that your school fees, probably £1,000. And whereby you fail to pay in this £1,000, they will log you out. And that's really sad for a student, because once the school logs you out of the students' portals, you wouldn't have access, you wouldn't have access to the students' computer or information in your class lectures. You can't even submit your assignment. You can't even access the announcements given on the computer, because student portal is where the information, all the information announcement, they are being passed. So a lot of international students, they do struggle financially when it comes to this. Me, I got locked out 2 or 3 times, yes, when I was in school here. It was really a bad moment, or it was really bad moments for me. I didn't like that, but I'm just telling you this ahead of time. So let your parents or whomever that is paying your school fees, let them pay up so that you wouldn't experience this. It's just a bitter experience, especially when you are a serious student that wants to really get your academic work done and turn in on time. Number 8, lecturers are absolutely very supportive, very helpful in this part of the world, because they are interested in your growth. There is no this hierarchy. Sometimes you cannot differentiate a lecturer from a student. I have sit at a cafe drinking cup of tea with my lecturer, during break time we discuss, and they provide all the materials. Some of them can even give you their contact number to ring them. Yes, I remember I had to chat up my lecturer on Skype then, asking him questions about one academic or one study issue then. You can write them, you can email them, they talk to you, they can call you to put you through. You can go to their offices, you sit down, they cross their legs, you cross your own leg, they give you a cup of tea or even chocolate. You discuss issues like a father or a mother and a child. This is the way learning is in this part of the world. The lecturers are very supportive. They want to ensure that you learn whatever they are teaching, or any question you bring up to them. They want to try their best to support you in the possible means, as in any better way they can, to help you learn. So they are very supportive. Do not be afraid of them. Feel free to interact with them and reach out to them when you have any problems or any difficulty understanding whatever that was taught in class. They are always there to offer their help. Group learning is another thing that is very common here in schools, because they do group learning. Even my child that is now in year 1 in primary school, they do group learning. Yes, because I remember 2 days ago, the class teacher rang me to say she's going to move Sumto from his original group to a different group, for having read well, blah, blah, blah. So group learning is something that is common here. But before ever you do well in a group, you must have done this research on your own. You do your personal studies or personal research, personal learning, before you can come up in a group to discuss a particular topic or issues with your colleagues or with your classmates. You have to make sure that you know it before you start talking. Being a foreigner also, you don't go about blabbing. You don't go about blabbing what you do not know. It will be disappointing and something very shameful to yourself. So that's why you need to read and read and read in this very country, so that you know your onion very well before you blab. So this basically helps you to solve real life problem when thought is applied, because you have equipped yourself. You have learned to do things on your own, to do your researches on your own, and to write down your findings on your own. So basically, you will be good at solving real life problems. And finally, it becomes more fascinating or interesting to you when you gradually fit in, to the learning processes, educational processes in this part of the world. It becomes very fun, and you start finding doing assignments, reading in group, or you start finding it very interesting as time goes on. So it is something doable, something achievable, something you would find very enjoyable as time goes on in your academic pursuits in this country. If I would even like to study more as time goes on. I'm wishing to go back to school, I must confess, but that's all right. All right, I hope you find this video interesting, and if you do give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for stopping by. Drop your questions and I would respond to them. Yes, thank you, and see you again. Bye for now.